Dobar dan i dobrodošli. Danas na Skype konferenciji će svi koji su se pitali kako se analiziraju filmovi moći da dobiju odgovor od Gudrun Joler iz Austrije. Želim da vas pozdravim sve i u ime mladih ambasadora koji u saradnji sa EU-info.com i Kulturforumom organizuju ovaj događaj. Gudrun je studirala na Univerzitetu primenjenih nauka Multimedia Art u Salzburgu i završila master iz oblasti filma i televizijske produkcije. Već 15 godina radi na organizaciji art i filmskih festivala od La Biennale di Venecija do Dijagonale, Austrijskog filmskog festivala. Radi u oblasti medija i edukacije mladih u dizajn studiju Ortlos u Gracu.
So now I want to say once again welcome, and we are very excited to have you here today, kind of here, and we would now like to hear your story, so please start.
Okay, perfect. Just say me a short hello to you at Niche. I'm happy to see you, and well, as I don't understand Serbian language, but I could understand like some points of my own biography, like Biennale di Venezia and so on, so I think I don't have to introduce myself right now. And as you know, today I'm going to make a small lecture about film analysis as a tool for youth education. So just give me some seconds to start with the PowerPoint. Oh, anyway, you can see my screen, yeah? Good. Very good. So you see my PowerPoint presentation now? Good. So one of my main target groups I work for is film festivals. For example, given the Austrian Film Festival, Diagonale, which takes place in Graz once a year. So second festival I'm working for is UKI, that's the International Youth Media Festival in Wales. So I don't know what's your age, but as long as you're under 26, you can send your work to UKI, and I really want to invite you to do so because it's a very interesting international film festival, and I heard that you are students of like creative fields. So if you produce films, I suggest you to send your work there. It's a really good place. And so my work I do for the film festivals is sponsored by Kultura Austria, which is a very great institution in Austria. And they give funding to like so-called cultural education workshops. And my main target group for these kind of workshops are school students and trainees. So you might ask, why to talk about films with trainees and not only with art students? Well, the point is that everybody watches films on cinema, on TV, on internet or YouTube, and everybody consumes media products. And the important question, we go to the questions. So the important questions are, which stories are being told? How is the story told? Who decides which story is worth telling? Who decides what a true hero looks like? And who decides if a hero is male, female, black, white, Asian, heterosexual or homosexual? So these are very important questions, and these questions are relevant for all media. And you can apply the same theory to all other media, like radio, like printed things like advertisement. And so to develop awareness of these issues is really important. Like, example given, just short example, in the United States, if you look at films who are produced in Hollywood, quite often, like especially in the 70s, 80s, 90s, the bad guys always have been blonde guys with blue eyes, so like me. So why is this? Why is the bad guy the blonde one with the blue eyes? Well, it's quite easy, because we had this Nazi history thing there. So from the perspective of the United States, the bad guy, the perfect bad guy, is a Nazi-looking person. So we see that when we look even at normal films, who don't deal with big issues, like just normally Hollywood comedies, stuff like this, still we get in touch with values of a society. And so for that, it's very important to talk about these values and to reflect them. So, well, and for the film festivals, why they are interested to do these kind of workshops is because they want to reach out for new target groups. And like apprentices or trainees normally don't get in touch with Austrian films that easily. Like most young people go to cinemas for Hollywood productions, but not for Austrian film as a main thing. And also for the other festival, for the UK Youth Media Festival, if you go to film festivals, you can see films that you hardly see on television. So a festival program is something very special. And as I told you before, it's not so commercial as television production. So it's very good to festivals. And the second point why film festivals are so interesting is because a festival is always a place for discussion. It's not like YouTube or like sitting at home with maybe your friends who might already have your same opinion. That's probably why they are your friends, because we like to surround us with people who share our opinions and values. But a film festival gives you the chance to discuss the film with the director and with the film crew. And also in the audience, there might be people who don't share your values, that have totally different opinions. So it's very interesting to get in touch with these people and to start a discussion. And that's possible when you go to a film festival. It's not possible when you stay at home. So these are the main two reasons. So once it's the topic like media literacy, to train media literacy via film analysis, and for the festivals to reach out in target groups and to go into discussion. Well, and the main objectives of my workshops are deepen the perception, get to know and learn how to use different tools for film analysis of a film, well, for sure, but normally you don't do it, you watch it and you discuss it. But to analyze it means to look closer, to learn how a film evokes emotions, how a film tells its story using images and sound, because that's what the film has. It just has images and sound to tell us a story. So it's always a big question for the director where to put the camera to. For example, given the situation we have right now, it might make sense to give, if I would make a film about the whole story, it might make sense to give a wide shot into the room where you're sitting right now, so the audience can learn, oh, there are a lot of people. And for me, like the situation we have it right now, it might be better to just use a kind of a close-up, because via that you can see my emotions and you can see my mouth while I'm talking, and this might make it easier for you to understand. So these are just reasons what you want to communicate to your audience, how close do you get, the camera, which camera angle do you use? Do you film from above or from beneath? So these are decisions you have to make. And you can look at these decisions in a finished movie and learn how the language of a picture functions. Well, so, and the most important, the most important thing for me is, again, to state and to make it clear that film is a product of the society. It is made by a society. It transports the values of this society. It reflects them. And, which is very important, and never forget about that part, it reproduces these values. So talking about film, in fact, is always talking about ourselves, about our experiences, and about our society. You can't separate those. So, what did I bring you now? Here you see a picture from Memento Park in Budapest. It's a collection of statues, and the artist who organized the park is called Akos Elliott. And if you look at the picture, it's very interesting. You just see some boots. So here we have the boots again. So what did I do right now? First, we had a wide angle shot, again, to get back to film, to give you orientation about the location. Now I choose to show you a more closer shot, which means your focus goes onto the boots right now. So this is a mixture right now between live picture analysis and a lecture. And now I wrote art as a tool for youth education, because I also work with not only film analysis but also art analysis, and film as well is art of moving images and sound. But coming back to Memento Park, you see this statue. Memento Park was built in 1993, and so what happened here? Now I give you a picture of the same statue in the year 1989. So that has been the statue before. So what happened? Why are just the boots left right now? Because society changed. The values changed. Hungary pulled out of communism, and so they just wrote down the symbols of the old system. And what the artist did, just collected all those leftovers and statues into a park of sculptures and statues, because by this he wants to remind people about the history of their own country. But here we see again how society influences art. And you all know, in a very extreme case, this also can lead to censorship. But coming back to our media consumption, daily life, we might also talk about kind of a censorship, because the question again is who produces the images. And as you all know, with what happened with internet and YouTube, it gives us a lot more possibilities, a lot more freedom, and now a lot of more people have access to the production and the distribution of images. So this is the good side of power of the internet. Okay, so, but now going into the topic, what I do with my students. Here you see in the background a young guy in front of a poster. These kind of posters are made by trainees who don't study film. It's the first time they go that deep into the topic of film analysis. And what you see right here in the background is the film It Is No Dream. I might play a sequence, and I hope it works via YouTube. If not, you will have just 3 minutes, well, for nothing, but anyway, I'll try. And in the front, you see the typical structure of a Hollywood film, let's say that way. And we have the beginning, we have the main part, and we have the end. And this structure is very classical, and it goes back to the ancient Greek drama. We have these 3 acts of drama. The first act, the film starts with the exposition. We get to know all the important people. So this always happens in the very first part. And then we have the first plot point. A plot point is a point of change. After this plot point, something's going to happen here, and it will change the direction of the story forever. And you can see this very nicely with the blue arrow going up. Like with the first plot point, normally the tension goes up. Something is going to happen, the tension goes up. And at the second plot point, the tension goes down again, leading to the final end. And if you look now on the big picture in the background, you see a green line. This is the dramatic suspense of the film we analyzed. And you see it goes up, down, up at the end again, and then going down. So with this dramatic suspense, it's very important because it compels you to watch more. You want to watch more. So part of the work of filmmaker is to be smart with tension, suspense. And by analyzing a film, you can learn a lot how to build up suspense and how to focus the interest and how to catch the interest of your audience. And, this is like the basic dramatic structure, but for sure it can vary from film to film. So, I guess you all know that guy pretty well. It's a very famous hobby. And so at film analysis or at film teaching, there we have this very important sentence, and it says the personality of a character is revealed by a difficult situation. So this means if you have a battlefield and you put your main character here, like this small cute hobbit there, the way the character acts shows you, reveals its character. Like if the hobbit is going to run away on the battlefield, it's a coward. If he's going to run in front of it and start to fight, he's a hero. So this is also something you can find out very nicely while analyzing a film, how you can build up characters. Because you have to show that this guy is a hero. You have to show that this guy is a coward. You have to show that this guy is mean. In a book, you can write, he's a bad guy, or he's a sneaky person, or he's a great mind. But in film, you can't write it. So you have to make it visual. And so, we have like the hobbit here. And point is that we call, also you might know it, journey of the hero. So in a film, a hero has to make a journey and he has to overcome obstacles. So here we have the small guy, and then we have this ring. So again, the question is, can we see the whole guy? And like from with the whole feed from top to down. And why do we have to be so close to that small ring? Like the picture you have in the middle right now, if you imagine it being projected on a big screen of a cinema, it's really huge. So what for? Why is it necessary to come so close? Well, because that ring is very important, as I guess you know pretty well. And because there is something written on the ring. And I have to come close with the camera to make this visual. Because again, the camera is leading the eyes of the audience. So if I want your attention to be focused on something I think is really important for the story, I have to get close with the camera. So this is one reason to get close. The second reason is to show emotions or to make it emotional. Like next time you look at the movie, you can try to find out what it makes if the camera comes close. And if you look at the romantic scene, probably the camera will be very close. Not because, I don't know, we want to see beautiful Leonardo DiCaprio naked or whatever, but because the film wants to get us emotionally involved. Like a love scene is something very emotional, so we have to be close. We have to get the feeling of being close to another person. And if a film, like maybe a documentary, tries to be very objective, maybe it's smarter to stay a little away with the camera, because this gives you a feeling of distance. So, but coming back to our small guy here on the left side and on the ring, our guy has a goal, yeah? And his goal is to throw that ring into a mountain. So, like, if you imagine, I think this film, as you know, it has 3 parts. Yeah, even more if you start with the very first beginning. And these 3 parts are quite long, like really long. So I think we talk about maybe 7 hours or more of movie. 7 hours, we're going to watch a guy who tries to throw a ring into a mountain. That somehow sounds quite stupid, because even if a mountain is far away, you can do it, let's say, you could show it in 50 minutes. If you want to show a lot of landscape, you could show it in 10 minutes. It's not a big task. But what makes the task big are those guys. These guys are the obstacle. These guys are in between our little friend on the left and the mountain. And so these obstacles make the journey big. And there, with film analysis, there is also this, this sentence: the more you drag down your main character into a really bad situation, the more tension can you provoke with the audience. Yeah. So the more orcs or the more bad people are in front of our small friend of the Hobbit, the more interesting, the more focused, and the more interested we will be, and the more interesting is the story going to be. So that's no good news for being a film hero, because anyway, it means you have to go down very deep into a bad situation to make it nice for your audience. So that's the bad side of being a film hero. Okay, so I have here, I want to show you a short, 2 minutes of a film. The film is called It Is No Dream. The director is Leni Gruber. It's an Austrian film from the year 2015. And it's a film that has been produced by young people during a summer class. So people have not been film professionals. It's the first time they are making a film. And I really like to work a lot with these kind of films, because as I told you before, I work with young people. So for them, it's also nice if the director is just a few years older than they are. And I'm going to show you now a situation. Our hero, our main character, he has a big dream. And the dream is to jump down at the local swimming pool from the 10-meter, how you call it, whatever, from the 10-meter bar. I think you know what I mean. But he's afraid to do it. And all the other guys there, who even are smaller than him, they all jump. And then he has a very big, like, hero. And the hero appears in this scene. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is how the director decided to use the camera angle, and the sound, and even some more like slow motion to make tension in that scene. And I now try to go to YouTube to show you that, and I hope, I don't know if it's going to work. It should. Let's try. So, you see my YouTube video? Let's hope so. So I think with the sound it doesn't work, but you still have the images and my voice, I guess. And you can focus on the pictures. Like, this is his most important scene. Yeah, okay, I can see you writing me. That's great. Let's go further. Just want to show you that. Just see what I'm writing. We do not have sound for the video. Yeah, I got it. But let's just focus on the picture right now. I will make the sound for you. So the point is, we have here, look at the camera angle. The camera suddenly jumps away really far. We're very close again. And we here have this slow motion. If you see it, the slow motion. Again, slow motion. Jump with the camera angle. And there he goes. And after the scene is finished, the film continues quite normal and with no slow motion and with no extreme camera angle jumps. So that's the scene. Unfortunately, it didn't work with the sound. I guess it's, yeah, because I don't know what. But I just tell you, in this scene you have a little bit of music and then suddenly the music stops and there is silence. And this really dramatizes the situation. And here you see the young guys, when they present this movie, maybe on the top you recognize the guy standing up on the swimming pool. And here I show you that scene. It's called Der Sprung, it's the jump. And then I wrote down camera position. We have a lot of camera positions right here. You could see it. We had, well, first there was sound, then there was no sound, so you didn't miss that much. And then we had the slow motion. And in the whole film, we don't have so many camera positions. It never happens that the sounds goes away. So this is really something extreme you can make with your audience. Just put away the sound, take it off. Leave the audience alone with the pictures. It's really very extreme on a dramatic way. And we have the slow motion that never again comes into, in the film. And as you see above, the green line marks the tension curve. So all these means the film has, slow motion, the sound, the camera angle, everything works together to squeeze out as much tension as is possible. And then after this really big highlight, again, it's a plot point, because after the jump, everything changes for our main character. And after this plot point, the tension goes down, you can see it on the green line, and the film comes to an end. So it's very beautiful what those young guys made with the film. Really good you can do in film analysis, and even if you want to be a director yourself later on, just make a sketch of all the figures you have and write down the relationships they have. So here you can see in green written the positive relationships. People who say him, if you will it, you can do it. People who really try to make the best out of him. And with red, and the red arrows mark the guys who are against him, his obstacles. And again, as I showed you with the Hobbit film, we had all these, you have these orcs from Mordor, the bad guys, who are in between our little hero and his goal. And here we have the small guys, you see them on the left top. And they are not quite the same as the orcs, but for our main character here, they do really a bad job, because if you imagine you're a boy, like you have the pressure of being the strong one, being the tough one, and then you have some other boys in like your local swimming pool, like it's not called swimming pool, but you know what I mean, whatever. And they are smaller than you, and they just jump in front of you in a group. This really puts a lot of pressure on you. So again, so those small ones are the obstacle. His fear, for sure, is also an obstacle our hero has to overcome. And here this is from another film. This film is called Wannabe. It's from Janis Lenz, Austrian director, again. And our main character here is a young girl. She's 17 years old. Her name is Coco. And she has the big dream. Her big dream is to get famous with her YouTube channel. So I also prepared some of her YouTube channel clips, but it does not really make sense to show them, as you don't hear the sound. And again, here in green, you see all those little smileys, and the smileys mark all the good things she gets from her friends, and she gets from her best friend, and she gets from her clique. And then we have all those like sad-looking, angry-looking red smileys, and they mark all the bad relationships, all the negative things she gets, and all the obstacles who stand between her and the big goal of getting famous. So again, this shows you the complexity of the story, and it really can help you in arguing a film. And this definitely is one of the main goals of the workshops I do. For example, you might say, well, it's a boring film, or I just don't like it. And what's important for me is after the workshop, I don't want people to go out and say it's a boring film. They still can stick with their opinion, but they have to prove it. They have to find arguments. So after the workshop, I want you to go out and say, this film is boring because the main character fights against whatever, his mother, his brother, whatever, and the relationship between them is not shown in a very realistic way. And so for me, it's hard to believe the film. Or I think the film is boring because the sound is boring and the camera work is not really nice. There's not enough camera work in it. It's maybe, just one camera angle and that's it. So why do I want people to start arguing like that? Because we all of us, we have very good feelings when we see a film. We immediately know we like it, we don't like it. But it's important to go deeper than your feelings and try to find arguments. And this is something, again, you can do it with film, you can do it with all other kinds of media, and you can do it in daily life. Because even in daily life, it's really easy to say, well, I don't like my neighbor, she's stupid. But then just to write down the arguments, what you don't like about the person, might give you already a clue about the solution. So it's very important to, okay, say these are the emotional parts of it, but this is like, these are the facts behind it. And you can train this very nicely while analyzing a film. So that's one thing the young guys do. And here I show you a film poster. So one thing we also do in the workshops is making a film poster. And as you see that one, it's from Jungwild. It's from Bernhard Wenger, Austrian filmmaker from the year 2016. It's again a short movie. And as you see, the guys who made this film poster, they're not able to handle Photoshop. Like you media students, I guess, can handle Photoshop pretty well. But it's not necessary. Because making a film poster, it's not the graphical task or the graphical skills who are important. It's always the thinking behind it. And that's again, also if you make photography, the photo is, well, the photo does not start to exist in the camera. That's not the important thing. First, the picture has to exist in your mind. That's the important thing. And that you can train even without taking a single photo. So again, why do I make these film posters with the people? Because it's just a creative way to deal with the topic and the main characters of the film. Because if I'm going to make a film poster, what's important? The title is important. I have to know who are the main characters, who is more important, where do I position them on the poster. So like here you can see there is this black and white guy behind the younger boy, and it's a father-son story. And the father like is observing the son and wants the son to follow his own dream. Well, wants his son to follow the dream of the father. But the son, like the father is a hunter, and in that film the son does not want to be a hunter. So that's why the guys choose to show him like that, like he's touching his head and he's not really satisfied with his life. And in the back of him, behind his shoulders, you can see the father who is trying to manipulate his own son. And because the film also has a lot to do with humor, we put this, the guys choose to put this dead rabbit, the living rabbit on one side and the dead on the other side, just to show that it's a film that also has to do something with humor. So again, when you make such a film poster, there's a lot you can learn about the film, and it might be more interesting than just write it down. So you could go and write down, the film is about the father and the son, blah, 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 blah. But you can also make a film poster, and it's the same way to tell something about the story. You have to make the same thoughts in your mind before. Well, and that's now, I work a lot with documentary films and with fiction film, but for sure you can also work with experimental films. And actually this is something I really like the most, because with experimental films you can learn one thing really nicely, and that's the interconnection of form and content. The content and the form of a film are always intertwined. Like, you know it, for example, film noir, the genre of film noir, or a crime story. What's the form of this crime story? Or the colors? The colors probably are a lot darker than at a comedy. A comedy uses colorful, funny things, decorations and so on, which like a horror movie would not use. So this is just something quite superficial about the form and the content of a film. But with experimental films, this works really, really nice and well. And so I have a question right now to Snejana. And like at this YouTube link down there, the point is, if I show you the film right now, you can see the film, but you don't get the sound. And so my question is, if I could send you the YouTube link via Skype, you look at the YouTube link, and then we go back into the Skype conference again and talk about this film. Because I think it would be really nice if you could see it. So this is right now. Oh, I see there's something. We hear you, yes, but we do not have sound for the video. That's really bad. Okay. So it seems, is it the same when I play the video? Because then at least I have a little more control about the process. Is it better if I show it? Because we don't get sound anyway? Yes, it's the same. Okay. Then let's do it that way. I will send the link to you. And yeah, just to one thing, the thing because I use those YouTube links is because I show you just parts of films who are officially in the internet, because if not, we have always this copyright thing. But you can go and look at this film on your own at home, and please turn up the sound really loud, yeah, because it's really good, but you have to need good boxes, like good sound system for that. And be careful. The film is quite unclear, blurry and flickering, so this just as a warning for people, I don't know, for epileptic people, yeah, just to give you a warning before. So I try to go to the film again. Here we go. It's 2 minutes 40, and we just go through it without sound. I hear sound right now, so maybe you hear my sound. So, just to see you. I need to see you right now. We hear a little. Okay, at least you heard a little. Okay. But you saw it. So, please, so I ask you, everybody who thinks that was a good film, please stand up. Oh, well, I mean, it maybe was maybe was a bad question, but everybody who understood the film, please stand up. Okay, so please, everybody who has no clue what this film is about, stand up. Okay, thank you. So what about the rest? Everybody who did not stand up, please stand up. Okay, doesn't work. Anyway, if we go back to the film right now, the first time you see such a film, probably you don't have a clue at all. You don't know what can you do with that? Yeah, no idea. So again, what really helps is go back to the analysis and just like, unfortunately, I don't hear you that good right now, but normally I would ask you now to tell me everything you saw. What did you see? So I just will give you answer the question for you. We saw a road. We saw black and white. We saw kind of flashes. What else did we see? We just saw unsharp stuff. We saw a lot of distortion concerning the picture, a lot of distortion, like an unclear picture, not clear picture. And so what did you hear? Well, you just heard a little, but if you really put on the sound quite loud, you just hear very strange sounds and noises that don't give a lot of clue. So if I ask you now, what emotions does this film provoke? Most of the people will say, well, it's very strange. It might be something like fear. I felt fear or something, or I felt insecure. And what else did we see? Well, we saw the bird at the end. We saw this night bird who just turned towards the audience in the end. And if we then put together all these small clues on a list, mix it together with our emotions, and then start to go into interpretation and do some research, then we might find out, okay, this film Carte Noire is a trailer for a film festival that deals with experimental films. So where does a film festival take place? It takes place in the cinema. So is it dark in the cinema? Yes, it's dark in the cinema. The film again is dark. What is cinema about? Cinema is always about projecting light. It's always about light and darkness. So what do we see in the film? We see light and we see darkness. So normally in a cinema, do we look on the screen, or does whatever, again, Leonardo DiCaprio, look at us? Well, sometimes we get the feeling he looks at us, but most of the time we look at the film. So cinema and watching a film always has to do something with looking. And so at the end, the bird is looking at the audience. So we also have this aspect of film, of watching in it. And if you put it together, like I do it just in a very rough way right now, then you might get a clue could be about. And it provokes these strong emotions. So it could be about film and emotions. It could be about light, darkness, about seeing something, about getting seen. And the film just, the short film takes a lot of effort to provoke an unsecure emotion, and in general, film and movies put a lot of effort in provoking emotions with the audience. And if we put together all this information, we might find out that it's quite a beautiful way to deal with the task to make a trailer for a cinema. And okay, you have time for the next program. So this was just a small example. Getting back to the presentation. Well, yeah, this just the interesting film is that the interesting film is with the workshops. The film festival received a very nice award because what I told you now is quite a theoretical approach. Film analysis is theoretical, and to get people to deal with the film 15 minutes for 2 days without boring them is quite a nice thing. And you really go deep into the discussion with them. And that was it. That already was my last part. And I say thank you for your attention. And well, so now we can start with the Q&A. If you have any questions, that's the question right now.
Dakle, da li imate pitanja? Da li neko ima pitanje za Gudrun?
So everybody's sleeping now. That's always a good sign. Movies I like for certain reasons quite a lot. Just to give you an example, I really liked seeing from a feminist point of view. I really liked Thelma and Louise, and I really was happy when Quentin Tarantino came up with Kill Bill, because since then in Hollywood movies, a woman was never allowed to take revenge by her own. And with Kill Bill, it was the first time that on Hollywood movies, a woman was allowed to be the one who is hunting the bad guy. So I said thank you to Quentin Tarantino for that. But Asian films, in Asian cinema, it's quite common that the woman is allowed to act like that. So these were just 2 movies that came to my mind. Concerning the questioning of social norms. No. Well, the question was if in Austrian secondary schools include film education and media education. Not really. We have art education, and media literacy is part of the German classes and part of the art education. But well, there is so there is a little bit, but not a lot, just a little bit. And that's also one of the reasons why schools invite people like me to come there and to work one day with the pupils and go deeper into the analysis.
Okay, thank you. Which factors do you take in consideration when determining whether a film is suitable for all audience, or it has to have a parental advisory?
Okay. I'm not part of the film. Well, yeah, I wait until I get the message. No. Well, I got it. I think I understood it. Well, I'm not part of this film commission scene who have to say, yeah, if a film is suitable for all audience. I think this just really depends a lot on the social rules in your country. And like seen from a state point of view, and from a personal point of view, I try to choose films for my workshops which I think where the main character somehow relies to the audience. So it really does not make sense for my workshops to bring films which are very, whatever, philosophical or really deal with special grown-up topics when these are very young kids. I wouldn't do it because it doesn't make sense, but it's like my personal choice how I decide which films to take or not.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for...
sorry, just to put that on again. For sure, if there is violence or explicit sexual scenes, it's probably not suitable for young children. I think that should be, well, normal. And to be honest, in Austria, we have if you put on television, there is a small sign down there that shows you if the film is suitable for all audience or only for parental advisory. And if a film has the sign that it's only for parental advisory, I, most of the time, don't do it because I'm too afraid.
Okay, thank you for your answer. I think there are no questions, or do we have one? No. There are no more questions for you. I just want to say thank you for sharing this with us. We really enjoyed your lecture and hope to hear from you soon. Također želim da se zahvalim i svima vama koji ste došli i pozvala bih vas na ciklus austrijskih filmova koji počinje večeras od 20 časova u bioskopu Kupina i traje sve do 7. maja. Imaćete priliku da uživate u austrijskim filmovima. Moto ovogodišnje revije je Austrijanci, priče o umetnosti, društvu, prošlosti i večnosti. Izbor filmova ukazuje na različite aspekte kulturnog nasleđa Austrije, njene istorije i društvenog života. Tako da to bi bilo to za danas. Još jednom... Of course. We have a special...
Grüß Gott, Ivan Rendi Senior.
Yes, I thought.
Ich bin froh, dass du heute Abend bei uns war. Schön, schön.
Hi, Ivan Rendi Senior.
Okay.
I thought, is that him? Yes, it is him.
Freue mich sehr. Okay, liebe Grüße. Papa, servus.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you once again and have a great night.
Thank you very much. Have a great night too. Ciao, Ivan. Ciao, ciao, y'all. See you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.